sometimes it's challenging for us to step into our own light. If I say it like it's a real, it's like now it's living. But in 20 years from now, when you are drafting, or if you've already drafted that business plan, and then you start putting feet to the work, you can come back to this video and you can say to your former self, I'm making you proud.
This is UMBC Careers Unleashed, where we unleash stories, insights, and expertise to support you on your career journey. Let's dive in.
What's up, Retrievers? We are here with another episode of your favorite podcast, UMBC Careers Unleashed. Oh, and we've got a treat for you today. We've got our special guest, Gaby, and I don't want to say it. You just gave me an introduction to saying your last name correctly. So let me try and see if I can do it, okay? Echiverri.
Like you're very itchy.
Like you're very itchy. Gaby Echiverri. All right, so to kick things off, tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Like, who is Gaby? I know we've got some exciting information. As of today, right, recording, you are 1 day shy of graduation. And then when they see it, you will be an official cross the stage alumni. That's one thing, right? Yeah. I'm excited about that. But tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like, who is Gaby? What's your major while you were here at UMBC?
Yeah. Well, here at UMBC, I studied music performance and violin, and also media and communication studies. So I'm a violinist. I've been playing violin for like 15 years now. So it's been a while, and music is one of the things I'm most passionate about in my life.
So were those two double major or major and minor?
Double major, dual degree. Yeah.
Okay. And how did that come about?
Well, I originally came in as a history major because I wanted to be a lawyer. And as I was taking history classes, I realized that is not where my passion is. So I switched to music. I was a music minor when I came in, so I just made it a music major. And I really wanted to have another degree that would work well with music and was kind of flexible, and it would help me support a career in music. So I went with media and communications. I thought marketing would be like a nice addition to that.
What a jump.
Yeah.
Attorney to like creative music, marketing.
I realized I had a lot more to say with violin than like with arguing in a courtroom.
Now that we've gotten to know you a little better, we are going to take you on a little journey. Okay. We're going to get the inside scoop from Gaby.
Okay.
All right. So here on the podcast, we like to do a little something called career controversy. Are you ready? Are you holding on?
Yes. Very ready.
So here is your career controversy. Being that you are a music performance and media and communications double major, actually alumni, as of the release of this podcast. Okay, so here's your question. You ready? Okay. Is the idea of a starving artist still relevant in today's digital and interconnected world? Or is that an outdated myth that holds creative people back from pursuing their passions professionally? So starving artists out there with their violin on like the New York street corner with their case open for quarters. Like, is that still a thing? Is a starving artist still a thing, with social media and all that? Or what you think?
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't realize about music is that there's so many different pathways you can take. I mean, you can ask like any music grad and, maybe 50 of them, and they'll all be doing something different in music. I think a lot of people don't see all of the different pathways that there is in music as far as arts administration, freelancing, teaching, and performance, outreach, stuff like that. So I do think it's a bit of a myth. And I think social media plays a role in that too, because a lot of people are gaining audiences on YouTube and Instagram, and that's how they're making their living. And I think a lot of like our kind of historic institutions of music, like older symphony orchestras or I don't know, like the US Marine Band or something, they need a lot of people for marketing those organizations. They're starting to have that need as well because they want to appeal to younger audiences. So I think that's a new avenue that's starting to come up as well because we're not using like traditional forms of advertising anymore. So yeah, I would say I would like to think that it's a myth, given that that's what I'm graduating with. But I would say that it is because I think there's so much out there for musicians and for artists in general that a lot of people don't really see.
And you know what? Listening to you, so I'm thinking, where do I stand on it, right? I think, and this is just me talking in real time with you, like, I have heard commentary from the last generation of creatives, and sometimes they feel like that today's creative and artist, that they are, what's the word? And I've heard it said like this, that they're cooked, but not done. Right? Like, so you're serving people something. So to put on a camera right in front of yourself with your tripod and to sing or to play, right? But you're in your room or the comfort of a space that you have created, as opposed to maybe standing on a stage or being outside or in the elements or all of these things, right? And so they are saying how, though the talent may be there, because they haven't been challenged by the older means of like promoting their craft and doing that. But I think yours is different, right? Because you kind of cultivated it inside of an academic space. So that doesn't maybe necessarily, you've kind of been put through some of those rigors.
Even that, I would say I really disagree with that very heavily. Yeah, I mean, I think the point of art and music is to connect with your audience emotionally. And some people are able to do that in the room on Instagram Reels, which is even more powerful because you're not doing it in person, you're doing it through a screen. So I think it's so unfair to discount the people that are touching other people's lives with their art online.
I think, you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I remember the first time that I had to sing outside in the cold. It did not. And then I heard the recording.
In the cold. Oh gosh.
My goodness. Right. But then I was thinking about, I think it was, I don't know who it was, but it was at a presidential inauguration and they were able to do it. Do you know? And so I was so impressed because that person has been through the hoops and all of that. And so I'm not trying to say that singing on like in a social media setting or with, you know, in a curated space is not real art. I'm not going to say that, right? This is supposed to be a hot take. I'm not going to say that, but I will say that having to be under the pressure of cold, heat, tired, you know, like all of those things, I think that maybe creates for a more well-rounded artist.
That's true. I will say that the pressures of recording are also very real, which I'm sure you know from the podcast.
Yeah, but it's true.
I honestly prefer doing in-person performances than recording audition videos or things like that. It's so much more exhausting to record than it is to
because you got to drum yourself up, right? Like at least on and with people there, you can pull from their energy. You know if it's off. Do you need to do something? Do you need to move? That is so cool. I haven't been able to have that conversation with anybody else.
No, it's really hard. It's really hard.
I love that. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. We're out of the controversy. Okay, so you said earlier that you've been playing since you were a child. So like, what is it about the violin that captured you? What was the thing there?
Well, my parents really encouraged it. And my older sisters played the violin, and I always wanted to be exactly like them. So I picked up the violin because of that. And I think what kept me going was at a certain point when I was maybe in high school, I started to find like kind of my own voice in violin, and I really enjoy performing and sharing that with people. So I think that's what kept me going.
So what were like some of your fondest memories like with your instrument? Do you have like, oh, this was the moment, like, I don't know, maybe you had like the I've arrived or maybe, you know, it might not be that. It could have been just like, you know, like your 5th grade recital or something. Like what's a fond memory that you had with your instrument?
I would say I mean, I've had a lot of performances here at UMBC that I've been really proud of, but A funny story, kind of my first taste of that was when I was in 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
I performed at my school's strings recital,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, strings concert, and it was supposed to be like the whole school's concert. So all the students play all together, but for some reason my teacher was like, "Do you want to play a solo piece?" And I was like, "Okay." So I played this like humoresque, it was like a super short piece, and it was my first time playing on a stage, and the whole time I was like, "Oh, it'll be easy." And then I got on stage and I was shaking. My bow was shaking, my legs were shaking. I felt awful. I wanted to throw up. And I played the piece and I had a huge memory slip, and I was so ashamed afterwards. But then I remember like so many parents and friends coming up to me afterwards and being like, "That was amazing. Like that was so cool that you went up there and did that." And I guess that's kind of what performance is you put yourself out there, you're very vulnerable, and you share something, and people you see how people respond to it. And I guess, yeah, that was like my first ever huge performance like that, but I think it's pretty much the same story as all of my performances here too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that you were the only person who knew that you were nervous? Were you able to play through the
Yeah,
nerves?
a lot of people, they were like, "Oh, you didn't seem nervous," and I was like, my knees were shaking, bro. It was really crazy, but yeah.
No, I remember, what was it, the first time that I had a solo? It was in church. And
Oh.
I was singing this song. It's called We Fall Down by Donnie McClurkin.
Hmm.
And I was so nervous. I couldn't even finish the song. Like, my choir director had to step in and sing the song for me. And years later, my mother didn't say it to me on the day of because I was so ashamed of myself. But she was like, "Honey, the song is called We Fall Down." She was like, "You fell down
It's
and you
really
didn't
funny.
get back up." That was the line. "We fall down, but we get up." She was like,
Yeah.
"Baby, you fell down and you did not get back up." So I'm glad to hear you were able to push through the nerves, because the first time I ever sang, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so now tell me. Okay, I know all performing, it's like the nerves, it's the jitters.
Mhm.
That's because it's important to you. But like,
Mhm.
what do you do now to like manage that? Like, how do you overcome, or how do you engage with that feeling now as like a
Yeah.
more seasoned performer?
Well, I enjoy the adrenaline, to
Okay.
be honest. It really helps me, and I find that it makes me play better.
Okay.
But as far as kind of getting in the right mindset
Mm-hmm.
before I begin each piece, I always try to have a certain image or story that I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about. So
Okay.
sometimes I'll like make up a story to go along with whatever piece I'm playing. And this is definitely from my violin teacher.
Uh-huh.
My violin professor here, she is always like, "What kind of word or emotion do you have when you start this?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's so helpful. Sometimes it's like a landscape. Like I did one piece where it was a snowy mountain landscape that was very
Mm.
pristine and peaceful. And I'll think about that. And then I'm not focused on the music. I'm focused on the message or the artistry. So
Mm-hmm.
that helps.
I'm over here stealing tips from you right now. Do you and this is something I really want to know. Like, do you have like a moment where you hit a flow? Like for me, for example, like that first note that comes out of my mouth, that's like the scariest thing. Like, is it going to crack? Is it going to land? Is it going to da-da-da? And then finally, once, because you've been rehearsed, you
Yes.
practice, you have to let go of it. At least this is how, from my
Yes.
performance background, it's like I let go of it. And then once I get into the flow of it, maybe like the second line or third line of the
Yeah.
song, I then hit a flow.
Mhm.
Is that similar for playing too?
Yeah, for me, that's a big problem in my playing, actually. My violin teacher is always like, "You need to start from the very start." But yeah, when I hit like a part where I just like how it sounds because it's pretty, or maybe it's
Yeah.
like more emotional for me,
Yeah.
then that's when I'm able to kind of let go of it a bit and
Mm,
let go of, "Oh, I need to play this perfectly," and just kind of think, "Let me just say what I need to say." So,
love that. Such a creative. So here's then the question. So you've been a violinist and you've been a performer for, you said, like 15 years. So since, from childhood. You started as a history major here, pursuing and wanting to become an attorney.
mhm.
Then you said, okay, what were you like, let me just stop playing. Like, what was that moment like where you were like, okay, I was in pursuit of that.
Mhm.
Like, what was that moment like for you? What was that aha moment like?
Well, it was a couple of aha moments, I
Okay.
think. I had a few performances in my first year here at UMBC that were really special to me because I felt really proud of them. And I won the concerto competition here in my first semester, and I remember thinking to myself, like, maybe this isn't as far out of reach as I thought it was. And
Mm-hmm.
before coming here, fear had always been a huge factor. I wanted to do something that I knew I was good at, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, school, I can do that. That's easy. But violin is something that's a little more, ooh, I don't know. Do I have what it takes?
Mm-hmm.
But I think having those experiences of performing and seeing the other students at UMBC as well in the music department who were really going for their dreams, and they were doing music, they were doing the thing of like teaching and performing all the time, and I realized that that's what I wanted to. So
Okay. And this is also one of the things that why I'm so excited to really be talking to you, because I feel like that schools have personalities,
mhm.
right? And UMBC, while we have that like achiever, that
Mhm. Mhm.
achiever retriever kind of student personality and profile, but also it's like really STEM heavy. And really, if we're
Right.
going to say
Yeah.
like technology,
Yeah,
some sciences too, but like really STEM heavy, like
definitely.
the creative careers or the creative majors. Sometimes I feel like, do we have the resources? Sometimes as a
Right.
career center, I
Yeah.
even feel insecure, and I'm like digging and trying to, get
Right.
all
Yeah.
immersed in. And you were talking about seeing students here at UMBC,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
going for their dreams.
Mhm.
So like shine a light on like the music and the performing arts or visual arts like scene at UMBC. Like what's going on
Yeah.
behind the performing arts curtain?
Yeah. Well, we talked about it a little bit. I think because the music and arts program at UMBC is a lot smaller,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much individual attention and care that you get as a
Mm.
student. And in the music department, there's such a really nice sense of community among the students and the faculty as well. They're really supporting each student individually. They know each student individually, and I've worked with a lot of the professors in some capacity, and even the ones that I haven't worked with, I know them really well. So they all really care about the students, and they want to give you the opportunities you need to be successful. So I feel like, I mean, like with any major, but especially in the arts at UMBC, it's really, you get out of it what you put into it. And when you put in a lot, you can really, UMBC gives back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it helped me because maybe this is my own ignorance, like just, lack of knowledge in a specific area. But like, say, for example, if you are through and through an artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not necessarily, because I know you have a lot of different skills and we're going to get into that a little bit more later, but like you're not wanting to shift gears into the like administrative arm of the arts. Like you want to perform, you
Mm-hmm.
want to be a violinist, you want to be whatever, you play in the oboe or the flute or whatever your instrument is, or if you're a vocalist or, sometimes it feels like that getting to be, I guess, successful, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
getting put on, right, quote unquote, is like who you know. Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like that the professors and the tight knit community here helps you to break through that a little bit, or is it like, are you out there trying to figure out like, well, who's the violin? I don't know, like. What was this guy who plays what is it, saxophone or guitar shorty? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about? It's like violin shorty, oboe shorty, something. He plays like a classical instrument kind of
Uh-huh.
thing, but he's a trombone. I think it's called
Okay.
trombone
Okay.
shorty or something like that.
Okay.
And so like now you're on Instagram, like sending people
Yeah.
messages. Like, how do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what does the community at UMBC, do they help set you up for success as far as networking and all
Yeah,
that?
definitely. I mean, because the professors all know you so well, they'll give you a lot of opportunities. I know, for example, I'm doing a summer program this summer, a violin program, and I knew of it because my teacher recommended me for it. So the kind of connections you have with professors, and I know after I graduate and go into my graduate school, it's going to continue for sure. I'm going to keep in touch with my professors, and um I think also alumni. I've had like some friends give me gig opportunities after they've graduated. And so, yeah, I think having a community is really important for networking. And obviously, like as you said, networking is key to an arts career. And I think when professors know you as well as they do in the music department, they're really able to give you opportunities that they think would fit you the best and that they think you would be a great fit for. So,
You have such a positive, like, can do mentality. I wish I could have you like on my shoulder, like, or like like record that when I'm sitting in, a student appointment and I'm talking to someone who
mhm,
also is in a creative career and they're
mhm.
like, and I'm like, well, go, and this is illuminated for me in real
Mhm,
time, right? Like that there is a network, that there is a
mhm,
support. But just like in all cases, sometimes we have to like get up and be tenacious
mhm,
to go and like pursue it, to have
mhm.
that conversation with the professor,
I would
to have
say,
that conversation with your fellow, performers, like,
mhm,
what are you doing, after graduation?
yeah.
How have you been, it kind of, where are you getting your opportunities from? Have you had any internships? Like those are the things like that. That's where the
Yeah.
magic kind of lives.
Yeah, and I think at UMBC, at least with music and
Hmm.
with media comms, the professors really want to see you succeed
Hmm.
and they're very supportive in that way. So that's helped me a lot.
Have there been any like particular staff or even like fellow classmates who've had like a significant impact on your journey, like within the arts department while here at UMBC?
Yeah, definitely. I think I can think of two professors. Obviously, my violin professor.
Hmm.
I mean, she's been an incredible mentor to me, both in violin and in my career. She's advised me through like my graduate school applications and through my own career fears and
What's this professor's
anxieties.
name?
Dr. Yoshioka.
Okay, we got to
Yeah,
shout her
she's
out.
amazing. And yeah, I mean, she's really just been such a great mentor. And she's given me a lot of opportunities for performances and a lot of really, really cool stuff. And I think also Dr. Dussman, who's a composition professor here,
Hmm.
I never took a class with her, but we've talked, she's seen me perform, and so she kind of knows what kind of student I am. And she gave me the opportunity to study abroad last year,
Where did you
and
go?
I went to Italy. I went to a conservatory in Italy to study music there. Yeah, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity if it weren't for her. And she really, really believed in me, and she believed that I could be successful there. And honestly, it's like one of the single best experiences I've had in my undergrad.
Hmm.
And it's also, I mean, I don't think I would have been as successful with my graduate school applications had I not studied abroad. So
Hmm.
it's been really important for my career as well. And so if it weren't for her, I would not be where I am now.
I feel like if the podcast commercial was a person, it would be you right now. Like, there's so many things that we have covered in earlier episodes, like
Mhm,
foundational episodes 1, like imposter syndrome, like when you were
mhm,
talking about how your legs were shaking, and then not even just the performance part of it, but like
mhm.
then when you came to UMBC and you didn't know if music could be your major,
Yeah.
like if you were good enough. And then now I'm like in Italy,
Yeah.
okay? Right? So we talked about that. And then you're talking about networking and using like
Mhm,
your
mhm,
professors, the people who are right there with you day to day in that tight knit community, like, and that's your
mhm.
springboard for networking. And now, like studying abroad, we just did, we have another episode about studying abroad. So I'm just like, you just checking the boxes, like, psh, 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 like, oh my goodness, all around. Okay. So I know that you are a music performance major,
Mhm,
but
mhm,
you also have a double major
mhm.
in media and communications.
Yes.
So how did that come about, and like why like double majoring? Like how did that come about, and then why did you give equal weight to
Yeah.
both disciplines?
Well, my mom really encouraged me to have another major,
Okay.
just to support music,
Mm-hmm.
and I took
Wise mom.
yes,
Okay.
definitely. I'm so thankful to her. I told her I would be giving her a shout out to this. So, but in one of the last history classes I took, I sat next to somebody who was a double major in history and media and communication studies.
Okay.
And I was talking to her about how worried I am about my career and like what to do with music. And she was like, you should really think about doing media and communication studies.
Okay.
And so I decided to make the switch because of that. And I realized as I started taking classes, like, wow, this is actually really, really interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this marketing stuff is so relevant to music. And if you think about it, music is media and it's a way of communicating. So it's so, so relevant. And the media and communication studies major is so, so flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can really use it and apply it to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I just really liked how flexible it was and how applicable it was to my music career
Mm-hmm.
and how I was learning skills like, using Adobe Photoshop and using Canva. I was learning skills that I felt like I could really use as in a career as a musician too.
So tell me explicitly, how do you see the two merging and marrying together, like media and communications and the music performance? Like how for you where's that overlap?
Yeah, I think
Or maybe not overlap, but like how you know what I mean?
yeah,
Want
definitely.
to use it.
Well, the main one is in learning how to market yourself. Especially as a freelancer and as a teacher, you really need to know how to market yourself through Instagram, like social media, making your own website. And yeah, so marketing yourself is a big part of that, which I gained a lot of like marketing experience and content creation experience that helps with that. And then also if I were to do an arts administration position with an arts organization like an orchestra or maybe an arts outreach program, then that would be really useful in those roles as well. I think one thing that I'm seeing a lot of major orchestras in the US start to do is have more of a social media presence. And I think like a lot of music institutions are very, very traditional. So I think they're just now kind of starting to catch up to like using social media and having like an online presence and making Instagram reels. And so I think that's something that the music industry, at least for classical music, I think that's what they're really going to start looking for in the next few years.
You know what? And that's what's so impressive, especially when I was just getting to know you, that it was like that you are creative for sure. You have a passion for your instrument and performance and the discipline around performance too. But like that you want to, and I'm saying want to like presently, make sure that you are like diversifying your skills in a way that allows you to take that creativity down multiple like lanes and avenues. So tell me, I know you said you just shared with me that you studied abroad, which is like amazing at a conservatory. Were there other experiences that you took advantage of while you were here at UMBC that helped to cultivate your skills either in performance or with your media and communications?
Yeah, well, for media communications, I had 2 internships this past year. One of them was with the Division of Professional Studies at UMBC, and that was just a general marketing internship position. And I also had an internship. I was a student research assistant for the faculty ensemble here, so they wanted to kind of establish an online presence and build a better identity for the ensemble, or a more clear identity. So they really wanted more people in the community to know about the kind of work that they're doing. And so I kind of helped them with like making a website and stuff like that. So
what is what is the faculty ensemble?
Well, we have a website on UMBC Music.
Okay.
It's called Ruckus.
Okay.
And they do a lot of new music stuff. They do really, really cool work. I mean, I love going to their concerts.
Faculty that are artists or musicians.
Yeah, they're performing together. Yeah.
Listen, I was Monday years old. What's today? I was two days younger than I am today when I learned about that. The faculty ensemble.
Yeah.
What is that? That is
They
so
do
cool.
really cool stuff.
That's so cool. And so your internship with the Office of Professional Programs, that's a mouthful, Office of Professional Programs. That's kind of how I first got introduced to you virtually,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because you got the chance to work with my colleague, Rowena.
Right, Rowena, yeah.
And you did a video for, explain to me what was that video that you got the opportunity to do with that?
Yeah, my final video project for my internship was making a project about how the Career Center helps graduate students. Since my office works with people who are in professional programs, which are graduate programs. So I did a video basically outlining like maybe all of the questions that you might have as a graduate student, like I don't know how to network, or my resume isn't working, or how do I get an interview? And I kind of answered those questions with, well, the Career Center offers this and this and this. So that's what I was working on.
And this was not, and when I talked to you, we had our little initial conversation. That was like not even a prescribed part of the internship. This was like something that you dreamed up, right?
Yeah.
So how did you even imagine, like, what was that? It's like, okay, these are the things I'm supposed to do. And then now on top of it, like, you're going to put some Gaby pizzazz on there. Like, how did that come about? Like, what was that, like always a creative goal or something?
Yeah, I did make another video for the Academic Success Center last semester, and I really, really liked that project. I really wanted to get more experience with Adobe Premiere, and I wanted to get more experience with filming and scripting, and I thought, well, what kind of video would be useful for like our target audience, and I thought that would be nice.
You just keep doing it. You doing it again, Gaby. Gaby is doing it again, y'all. We had another episode, right, where we were talking about, and actually it was me, right? It was by myself. And we were talking about how to maximize your experience, right? Maybe even if you didn't get an internship. Now, of course, you were inside of the confines of an internship, but you dreamt of a project inside of the scope of your work that would help you sharpen skills and tools that you can take forever, right? Like that.
Well, I really have to thank my mentor, Denise, because she really helped me with all of that. And she was super open to letting me have this opportunity to like learn and grow. So I'm really thankful for her.
So who is Denise? Is this like a personal mentor? Or is this someone that is on?
Oh, she is my supervisor for my internship. So
networking, building relationships, and like allowing those relationships to push and challenge you. I love that. Okay, so now we are on the eve of your graduation, which congratulations.
Thank you.
So excited. And we had a whole reminiscing moment about my graduation, which was totally, I feel like yours is like, you are so well aimed. And do you have like future things set up? I know you're talking about a graduate program. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so next year I'm going to be starting my master's in music performance at UMD, College Park. And I was awarded the string quartet fellowship there. So I'll be in a string quartet there, and that will be my work essentially.
And so how did you learn about that particular like opportunity?
Yeah, well, I met the professor of violin there that I'll be studying with through my professor here, because they're very good friends and colleagues. So he gave a concert here at UMBC, and I got to like meet him and talk to him after the concert. And so I applied to the school, and the audition went well, I think. And then, and they gave me this fellowship position that I'm really excited about.
Amazing. You are amazing. Like, I want to give you a standing ovation.
Oh, no.
Seriously, because, and I say that because I'm just like inside of, and this is me having a personal admission, I maybe underestimated our like performing arts and like our creative majors here at UMBC, you know, and my personality is that I want to like stand up for the underdog, like,
Yeah.
and so here I am in a lot of meeting spaces where I'm like, we need more resources for creative majors here at UMBC. And I'm not saying that that's not true, but you are encouraging me that if positioned well and if a student or a person is like, you know, inspired, you know, and can and motivate themselves internally, that there's a wealth of opportunity here inside of our creative, more creative spaces, right? Like you got a connection to your graduate program through someone here. Okay. So now, though you're wonderful in all the things today, pizzazzy Gaby, right? I know that you have future aspirations and like big goals that we talked about like way down the line. So tell us, like, before it happens, y'all are hearing it here first on UMBC Careers Unleashed. What is Gaby like 10, 15 years? Like, what is it that you want to contribute or give back to the like art space?
Yeah, well, my interest is in arts outreach mainly. I really want to bring the arts to more underrepresented communities because there's still a lot of communities that don't have a lot of access to the arts. And I particularly am interested in getting communities more access to new music. So music that's been written, classical music that's been written maybe in the last decade or century. And that would mean like composers, underrepresented composers mainly. So composers of color and woman composers. I'm really interested in giving those composers a bigger voice, especially connecting them to communities that are also underrepresented. So like my big goal would be like to have an arts organization that is aimed at increasing arts access in these communities. I think it's so relevant still. I mean, we do have there's a lot of programs like that out there, but I mean, even Baltimore City public schools, they still don't have like a strings program in every school. And I worked with an organization earlier last semester that brings stringed instrument education to Baltimore City schools. And I realized, like, working with those students, it was really cool to see how, you know, I mean, I don't know if any of them are going to be professional violinists later down the line, but it's so cool to be able to form a kind of connection with an instrument and a new connection with music for these kids. So I'm interested in work like that.
Say it out, Gaby. Say it out. I don't know. YouTube, what is YouTube going to be in 10 or 15 years from now? Is this video still going to be here or 20 years or however many years, right? But like, say it out. Say it out, you know? And I'm encouraging you in the moment, because sometimes, and even from performer to performer, that sometimes it's challenging for us to step into our own light. You know, it's like that. Can I do it? If I say it like it's a real, you know, it's like now it's living. But in 20 years from now, when you are drafting, or if you've already drafted that business plan, and then you start putting feet to the work, right? You can revisit this moment, even if I don't know if it's going to be in the interwebs at that time. But if it is, you can come back to this video, and you can say to your former self, I'm making you proud.
Okay.
Live in that moment. Say it out. Because I could feel you. You were like, well,
It's kind of embarrassing, but yeah.
But no, and you know, sometimes it does feel big. It does feel big, and it is big, and it's wonderful. And then the day that you step into it and you start hiring those folks who, you know, or even if you're the only person, you know, and you're going into schools or wherever the space is, right? Like, you're going to be making your pre-graduation Gaby proud. And I'm going to, if you're not saying it out, I'm saying it out for you.
Okay.
I'm excited, and congratulations, and thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we have now had that's what I call an Oprah moment, girl. I just like give you all the inspiration. So now,
I feel so inspired right now.
and you should be, step into your light because it's there. I have been thoroughly impressed with you. You now are you're passing the torch, right? To the folks who are coming behind you. Okay. So before we close out, I have 2 questions that I want to ask you. And the first one is, what would be a tidbit of advice that you would give to a first year or second year creative major? Like that might be visual arts, performing arts, or even in mass communications, because that's also in the area of like creative space as well. Like what would be, if you were passing the torch to them, right? Like from the graduation stage, like, like here you are, friend. Like what would be that tidbit of information that you would offer to them?
Yes. I would say to go for every opportunity that comes your way and crosses your path. And even if it's not something that you are interested in initially, or maybe it's not something that you think you're good enough in, I would say just to go for everything, which seems kind of basic. I wish I could give better advice, but really,
is there a scholarship or a program or an email list serve that they should be on? Or is there an advisor or somebody who's like, if you don't know, this is the person?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, definitely taking advantage of the Career Center, because I got my internship with the Office of Professional Programs. I went to the Career Center first when I was filling out my application, and I like had them go through my resume and cover letter and everything. And I actually ended up using that in my graduate school applications and applying for other jobs beyond that internship. And it was incredibly helpful just going to them once for that one internship. So that is really useful. And also definitely connecting with your professors is very, very important, as we have been going over for like however long this is,
I love that. And you know what? You are living that out, right? Like folks who are concerned about grad school, or they don't know, where to turn for, how can they get connected to this internship? You've already been the poster child for that. So definitely kudos to you. Okay. Now here's your last question.
Okay.
All right. Get your thinking cap on. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So what is one thing about your journey or your future aspirations that like graduation eve Gaby is excited about?
I am really, really excited for my master's program. I'm very excited to start the string quartet fellowship and just have the chance to study with the string quartet a lot and perform a lot. And I'm really excited to start to kind of establish my roots and establish my career as a musician. And outside of being a musician, whether that's marketing, I'm excited to start doing that while I'm doing my master's. So I'm looking forward to it.
Gabby, you've gained a new fan today. I'm gonna have to follow you on social media. 'Cause I just feel like the sky is the limit. And you know what? You have been so humble and just gracious and unassuming at every and unassuming, that might be a bad word, but like you're not like, and I did this and I did that and I did that. I had to like peel back the layers to like be like, oh yeah, I went to Italy. Oh, you went to Italy? Oh yeah, I had 2 internships. Oh, okay. Oh, I connected with like all of these things, and you say it so casually, but it is, I hope that somebody is inspired, right? Like you dropped tons of gems in the most smooth and calm fashion.
Well, I'm just so lucky with everything that's here at UMBC. I feel like I really was really blessed and really lucky. So
yes. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us, Gaby, and congratulations on your alumni status.
Thank you so much.
All right, friends. That's been our next episode. I hope you enjoy. Peace out.